True Gamer here, and I'm back with another episode, and welcome to a history lesson of the life before Pro Evolution Soccer. And for those who are wondering who the hell was that at the start of the video, he was Diego Armando Maradona, the greatest footballer in my eyes that ever lived. Okay, first I'm going to start with this ancient artifact, Konami Soccer. And this, folks, is very special. Why, you ask? Because this is Konami's first soccer game ever to be fabricated in their company. Konami Soccer was exclusive to the MSX computer only. And yeah, this is what the front looks like. And this is what the back of the box looks like. And I can happily say, guys, this is packed with all of its authentic essentials, which that in itself is treasure. As you see, we have the box, we also have the classic manual, there you go, and this manual is a rare commodity, and it even lets you know what year it was published. As you see at the top right, 1985, so you don't have to look any further than that. You still have to go and do your research to see what year it was. And there you go, guys, we have the manual. And like I say, it's always a pleasure for manuals to be included straight out the box. Then we have the cartridge tray, and at the top we've got MSX engraved at the top, and on the bottom, as you see there, it says Konami software, and that's engraved. So the text on here ain't fading away nowhere. And then lastly, we have the vintage cartridge, and this is what it looks like. Then carved on the back, as you see there, we have Konami. And I've got to add, to get this complete in box can be very expensive, and the main reason why is this is Konami's first ever soccer game. Okay, next we've got Konami Hyper Soccer, which was the follow-up to Konami Soccer, and this, guys, was released on the NES/Famicom, so it was exclusive to the Nintendo NES, and this was released in the good old 1992 days. As you can see, I've got it, well, nearly complete in box. I've got the manuals and the cartridge protective sleeve, but I don't even know if it's the original sleeve actually. I don't know if they made it back then. But yeah, this was Konami Soccer. Konami Hypersport Soccer was part of Konami's Hyper series, which first came to surface on the iconic Commodore 64, and it was this classic right here, and it was called Hypersports, and they put it on an ancient tape which loading times was painful and atrocious. So that's the reason why I own Konami Hypersports. Since it's not part of the ISS or Pro series, is for this simple fact: many say Konami Hypersport Soccer was the predecessor to International Superstar Soccer. So in hindsight, this is where it all began for Konami. Yes, it all began with this NES game, Konami Hyper Soccer. Before Pro Evolution, Konami had a series called International Superstar Soccer. Just saying that name gives me chills and serious goosebumps. ISS was groundbreaking back then. This is what the box art would have looked like for the first ever International Superstar Soccer game, and it first arrived on the Super Nintendo/Famicom. In Japan it was called Jikyo World Soccer, which Jikyo translates into real machine, and it was released in 1995 and in 1994 November in Japan. as always, back then Japan got their games much earlier than the rest of the world. And as you see, this is more or less complete in box, just missing some product manuals. I've got the game box protector, which is always necessary for these cardboard game boxes, and I've got the manual for it, and I think it was a coloured manual back then, which is surprisingly shocking to me that they had a coloured manual. Yeah, you get the coloured manual, you also get the cartridge tray, and the cartridge itself looked like this, and I showed you the box already. So yeah, I basically got everything I need. Then came the sequel, ISS Deluxe, which made its first appearance on the PS1, and in Japan this was called Jikyo World Soccer 2 Fighting 11, released November 1995, and in Japan September 1995. And this game was available for various machines, both on the Mega Drive / Genesis and the Super Nintendo / Famicom. They all got versions of this, and this was part of the standalone series for the International Superstar Soccer series. And this is what the manual would have looked like. Unfortunately, not a coloured manual, it was all in black and white at that time. And this is what the bright yellow disc would have presented itself like back then. So I more or less got it complete, probably missing a few product manuals and registry cards and whatnot. But yeah, ISS Deluxe. Then on the PS1 was their next installment, and this was called Goalstorm. In Japan, formerly known as World Winning 11, which later became Pro Evolution Soccer in Europe. So very important to know, Goalstorm was Japan's first Pro Evolution basically, because they called this World Winning 11 in Japan. And this was released in 1995 in Japan, then 1996 to the rest of the world. This basically was the start of the ISS Pro series, which, with a slight twist, Goalstorm in Japan was the World Winning 11 title. So yeah, I have it complete in box, surprisingly enough, as you see, and we do have coloured manuals for this game. Look at that. Some of them is in, yeah, most in colour anyway, with a flashy, flamboyant coloured disc. Look at that. Very stylish. So yeah, Goalstorm was the first game introduced to the ISS Pro series. So after Goalstorm, they labelled it back to International Superstar Soccer with a slight twist. Now it's called International Superstar Soccer Pro, and in some other cases it was called Goalstorm 97, I think, in America. So Konami integrated the ISS with the Pro series now. So now it's called ISS Pro series. That's why they say International Superstar Soccer was Pro Evolution in its infancy. So it was basically in ISS's womb, just hadn't been born yet. So ISS is abbreviated for International Superstar Soccer, we know that, right? And this arrived back on the PS1, and this was in the Pro Series category, not the ISS Series category. So there's two categories, there's ISS Series, and then they later had the ISS Pro Series, which was only exclusive to the PlayStation. And yeah, but in Japan, they kept their traditional name. They called this World Winning 11-2 or World Winning 11-97. So Japan was still in sync with the correct order, while we in the West was all over the place and dishevelled. So ISS Pro is World Winning 11-2 or World Winning 11-97 in Japan. This was released 1st of June 1997, and it was across the board. So these are the times things were changing and Japan was no longer getting a head start over Europe and America with game releases. So yeah, I've got it complete with the manuals at least anyway, and this is what the disc would look like. So this is part of the Pro Series, guys, and this is International Superstar Soccer Pro, which in Japan this was formerly known as World Winning 11 2 or World Winning 11 97. Then a month later, N64 got their own special exclusive version from Konami, and this was called International Superstar Soccer 64, and this is what the box art would look like, guys. Japan labelled this Jikyo J-League Perfect 11, or also known as Jikyo World Soccer 3, and it was released in Japan December 1996, and the World Soccer 3 version came out in September that year, and for Europe and America they got it in July 1997. So despite starting their ISS Pro series on the PlayStation, Konami still showed love on other platforms by keeping the ISS series going, and this was an exclusive strictly for the N64. As you see, I've got the plastic box protector, which is always a must-have for these kind of items, a thick instruction manual, which is always nice to have, and a bonus is always a good thing when you get coloured manuals. Then we have the cartridge tray and the cartridge itself. This is what it would have looked like. And this is the back for all of the originals. The only thing I'm missing is the plastic and probably the product manuals. But I do get a registry kind of postcard thing, as I used to do back in the day. Fill that out and get some extra free goodies. And then obviously the cartridge box itself. So there you have it, guys. So after the Goldstorm sequel, which is really the starting of Pro Evolution Soccer, they no longer went with the name Goldstorm. The series was now called International Superstar Soccer Pro, and this was the first one, International Superstar Soccer Pro 98, and we had these two absolute legends of the sport on the front cover. To my right was Fabio Ravanelli, and to the left was the mighty Paul Ince. And they did have another version of this on the N64, and they dropped the Pro and just called it International Superstar Soccer 98, and they only had Fabio Ravanelli and the German goalkeeper Andreas Kupka. I think that's how you pronounce his name, I'm not too sure. But there was a lot of uproar about this, saying it was being prejudiced because they dropped Paul Ince in Germany off the cover. I don't know, it could be down to either licensing fees or copyright issues. But yeah, they made a version of the same game for N64, but just called it International Superstar Soccer 98. And then we had International Superstar Soccer 98 Pro on the PlayStation. Okay, so these two was released the 1st of May 1998, and Japan had their own version of this that came out a bit later. I think it was November the 12th, 1998. So they brought basically an updated version which they called World Winning 11 3, which you can get this integrated with World Cup France 98, which was this. And weird enough, this also came out on the N64. So Konami brought out a World Cup France 1998 for the N64, and it was exclusively only for the Japanese N64, so you couldn't get this in Europe. But Europe made a World Cup 98 game, and it wasn't created by Konami, it was created by them greedy developers EA. So we did get a World Cup game, but it wasn't by Konami. So yeah, Konami developed this bad boy. This was released in June 1998, and in Japan they called it Jikyo World Soccer World Cup France 1998. Like I said before, exclusively to the Japanese N64 consoles. And there were so many different variants of this game. Like America had a much different box art. It had the maestro in midfield on the front. This guy. And for those who don't know, his name was Carlos Valderrama. Now for most of these box arts, like I'm going to say again guys, all these games are basically the same game. This game is basically this game, and this game is more or less this game, and vice versa. So all of the International Superstar Soccer's 98s were the same. So yeah, so more or less each of the games have come boxed and complete with all the manuals and all that good stuff. So one glorious manual I've got. I'll start with the International Superstar Soccer 98 with Andreas Kopka and Fabio Ravanelli on the front, and I think these are coloured manuals with hardly any pictures. So yeah, and I also got the tray for it, and this is a bit of a rare one for the cartridge. You don't really see the plastic protector for it. They're very hard to come by. So I've got the plastic protector for the cartridge, I've got the tray itself, also the wonderful box, and the box protector. And then for the PlayStation, came with this terrific looking manual with the legends on the front, Paul Ince and Fabio Ravanelli once again. We don't get a coloured manual unfortunately, it's black and white, but mint condition. Get a few product leaflets telling us about the up and coming games coming up. So this one was Metal Gear Solid. Then we have a registry card thing, so you can fill it up, get some extra stuff back then. That's what it looked like. And another, yeah, we do have a product leaflet this time. So this is basically CIB. Got the product manual for once. Don't know what these gamers used to do with these product manuals, why they just in most instances are just MIA. And then, oh, we got the demo disc, Metal Gear Solid, and we also get a fine looking disc there with the soccer ball image. Very exclusive piece of kit here. Yeah, very happy with that. And last but not least, we have the Japanese N64 version. I'll start with this first. We have a safety precaution leaflet showing you how to unplug and plug it in. Then we have a registry card. No product manual, but we do have a packed to the rafters looking instruction manual here, and it's got some wonderful, bright, colourful images for all to see. We have a coloured manual. We have a original game tray for the cartridge. Look at that. With Nintendo 64 engraved in the middle there. Then we also have the cartridge itself. As you always can tell, it's the real McCoy. just by the screws and the engraved Nintendo on the back, and then we got the box. Unfortunately I need to buy a box protector for it. I haven't got one at the moment, I ran out. So yeah, pretty much complete in boxed. Then came ISS Pro Evolution. This was the first time Evolution started to appear in the title, and in Japan they just kept it simple and remained in order with the name World Winning 11-4, and this was released in Europe and America May 1999, and in Japan this came much later in June 6, 2000, aka Millennium. So yeah, things began to turn around at this stage where Japan no longer was ahead of the curve. We were catching up, or sometimes even getting our releases much before the mighty giants Japan. And lucky enough, this came with all of its glorious paperwork, which I'm going to show you now. You see we have the manual here, and we're lucky enough to have a coloured one. Yep, and then we have the nice bright coloured green disc. So this is more or less complete. Always happy as long as I got the manual in the box, can't argue with that. ISS Pro Evolution. And once again, before turning their attention to the PlayStation, Konami continued making games for the ISS series. They made another exclusive for the N64, which this is very pricey, and it's called International Superstar Soccer 2000. And like I said, it can be very pricey these days, especially if you want it complete in box. So this was known as Jikyo J-League 1999 Perfect Striker 2 in Japan, and it was released July 1999. And this is a game which many ISS fans rate very, very highly. And once again, as you see, I have all the necessaries. I have the box protector, got the beautiful manuals with a little scribble at the bottom, which I'm not happy about, but better than nothing. Might have to update one day in the future. Then we have the cartridge tray, cartridge itself, original, and another rare piece of paperwork to get, the Consumer Information and Precaution booklet. Since it's rare, I might as well give you a glimpse of what's it all about, what the fuss is all about. But yeah, very hard to really get these ones here. And then obviously we got the box itself. So yeah, this more or less fulfills the collector's needs for the ISS Pro Series, which I'll say it again, ISS Pro Series was exclusive to the PlayStation 1, which really this is International Superstar Soccer and Pro Evolution rolled in one in the title. Anyway, they announced this as ISS Pro Evolution Part 2. So this is ISS Pro Evolution 2, and this was released August 24th, 2000, and it was only on the PlayStation 1. And in Japan, the title for this game was Jikyo World Winning 11 2000 U-23 Medal Hino or Heno Chosan. And I don't know if I butchered that name, but that Japanese title is just way too long and just a big muddling tongue twister. And anyway, this game came ages after the European release, which they released this in December 2000, and that was a huge gap between the European and Japanese launch window. So what makes it even more special, we have a coloured instruction manual, which is always a huge bonus to add to your collection. And it looks like ESPN was involved with Konami back in them days, or for this specific game anyway. So yeah, this is ISS Pro Evolution 2. Okay, first, International Superstar Soccer came out for the Game Boy, released June 1998 in Europe and later in December 1998 in Japan, and it was called World Soccer GB in Japan. Second one was this one I got in my hand. This is International Superstar Soccer 99, came out for the Game Boy Color in September 2000 and July 2000 in Japan, and they called it in Japan World Soccer GB2, which probably means World Soccer Game Boy 2. And yep, just show you what it looks like. As you see, I do have the masterful manual, which looks like so on the front, back, and I think it will be in colour because it is for the Game Boy Color. So we have a few coloured pictures there, along with the cartridge tray. We have the cartridge plastic protector to go with it. Oops. And this is what the cartridge looks like, which will have a watch battery inside if it's the genuine version of the game. And then we got the box. So this is what you call everything you need. And then thirdly, International Superstar Soccer came out on the Game Boy Advance in November 2001. That was the Europe release date, and then a month later it came out in Japan, and it was called in Japan Jikyo World Soccer Pocket. And then the fourth release was International Superstar Soccer Advance, and that came out January 2003 and then November 2002 in Japan, and it was named in Japan Jikyo World Soccer Pocket 2. So Jikyo World Soccer Pocket 2. That's where the story ends as far as ISS on handhelds are concerned. I only have one, as you can see in my hand, out of the four I mentioned, but eventually I will need to get them all if I want to complete my collection. Okay, back to what we come here for, the PlayStation. So for the beginning of the PS2 era, Konami took a break from the Pro Series and reverted back to International Superstar Soccer Series and created this, International Superstar Soccer, which came out both on the PS1 and the PS2, and for the first time ISS was introduced to the PS2. This was released in 2000, then August on the PS1, then December 2000 in Japan, and at this time the industry was moving the goalposts, where we was getting more releases ahead of Japan for this franchise. And in Japan they called, this was known as Jikyo World Soccer 2000, and they also had Jikyo World Soccer Final Edition, and that was released December. And then another version came out in Japan called Jikyo J-League Perfect Striker 3, and that was released on the PS2 March 2001. So Japan had several revisions of this, but Europe just stuck with the one version of the game. And I do have the manuals with it. Oh, that's surprisingly enough, I got this little registry card thing, or postcard, however you want to call it. And do we have coloured manuals? So we do have some coloured manuals with it. And there's what the disc looks like. Always nice to have the box, the manual, and it's always good. It's always nice to have the little extra bonuses, registry cards and product manuals and whatnot. So yeah, there we have it guys, International Superstar Soccer on the PS2. Then emerged the sequel, International Superstar Soccer 2, which released May 2002. In Japan this went by the name Jikyo World Soccer 2001, so a complete follow-up to the other one. And it was released September 2001 in Japan. Yeah, and I think across the board this came out for the PS2, GameCube and Xbox. And the other version, another version came out only in Japan, and it was called Jikyo J-League Perfect Striker 4, which was probably was updated for better features or something of the sort. Only released for the PS2 though, that version, and that came out in March 2001. So there we have it, and I do have the manual, bright, colourful, bold writing and images, and always a bonus to have, we do have the product manual, which is very rare, showing you all the up and coming releases or releases that are already out at that time. And then this is what the disc will look like, spin it around. This is what you call nearly CIB, probably missing the safety precaution leaflet and the registry card. But there you have it, International Superstar Soccer 2 for the PS2. Then we have the last of the International Superstar Soccer saga, which is this game, International Superstar Soccer 3, and it was released in Europe and America in March 2003, and it was called Jikyo World Soccer 2002 in Japan, and their launch was a little bit earlier in May 2002. And surprisingly enough, this came out for all platforms. This was released for the PS2, GameCube, Xbox and even the PC. Then Japan done a revision of this game. They called it Jikyo J-League Perfect Striker 5, and that came out July 2002. So they made another game later on called Jikyo J-League Perfect Striker 5. These games for the PS2 was the last time Konami touched the ISS series. After that they axed the ISS from the title and transformed the Pro into Pro Evolution Soccer. And for Japan, ISS Pro Series was the start of the World Winning 11 series. So in hindsight, ISS Pro Series was Pro Evolution Soccer. So yeah, realistically, World Winning 11 5 was the follow-up to World Winning 11 4, which was ISS Pro Evolution in Europe. So yeah, hope that clears up any confusion. It's pretty straightforward to understand, but if you're having any trouble understanding, I'm happy to answer any questions down below in the comment section. So yeah, these were the last of the series, well, the ISS series. Then bang, Pro Evolution Soccer was born officially on the PS2 2001. The rest is history. In Japan, this was called World Winning 11 5, because what they did, they just carried on the series from the PS1 era. World Winning 11 was always the title. Only the other regions called this Pro Evolution Soccer 1 when it wasn't the case. This was a continuation of Goldstorm, ISS and the ISS Pro. So the titles for this really should have been Pro Evolution Soccer 5. So the West was always playing catch up to Japan. Pro Evolution Soccer on the PS2 was really the 5th part of the series. So just wanted to share that little bit of information with you, and this does come complete in box. So we get ourselves a bright bubbly coloured manual. So yeah guys, this was really Pro Evolution Soccer 5, but only Japan called it World Winning 11-5. And I'm only going to show these two out of the Pro Evolution Soccer series. So I've really done a huge long video of this. And this one, this looks like it's supposed to be Steven Gerrard. I'm not too sure about that one. And here's a bit of a glimpse of the manuals inside of here. Not too colourful like the first one. And we do get everything this time. So this is complete in box. This is what they mean by complete in box. We got the registry card to get some extra goodies from Konami. And then we've got this, the product manual, which shows you of other games from the PlayStation era. And every copy I have is CIB. So now you know there was life before PES 1. Only the name was the start of the beginning. Okay, I just want to add this. Konami back then done some side projects. One of them was ESPN Major League Soccer Series, and that was for all them American fans, which this title, this one here that I have in my hands, is very rare. As you see, we got the majestic midfielder Carlos Valderrama, a true legend of the sport, and he is representing on the front cover. And to get one of these guys complete in box is near impossible, and you know once that is an issue, prices can escalate to all sorts of mad numbers. So yeah, I was very fortunate to get one of these, but I got this quite a while ago. As you see, I need to replace the jewel case. It's really battered and bruised at the moment. And obviously, once again, I try not to buy unless it's got all of its proper equipment with it. We have the manual, a lovely coloured one with a questionnaire. Let's have one more look at Valderrama again on the front. And unfortunately it's not a coloured manual, but it's nice to have nevertheless. And this is what the ROM disc looks like. Okay, and then they followed it up with this obscure Gemini, ESPN Major League Soccer Extra Time. So instead of Game Night, they labelled it Extra Time. So this was certainly a sequel to the other game. And once again, I'm happy to announce that this is CIB with all of its paperwork, and the box is in good condition, could have been worse. And let's take a look at the manuals. So it's a coloured manual, not coloured inside once again, unfortunately. On the back there, looks like we got some sort of attachment to fill out. It's probably for warranty purposes. So yeah, ESPN MLS Extra Time. A very rare piece of software if you ever can get your hands on it. You can get the single disc of this one pretty easily, but to get it boxed with all of its manuals is a task near impossible. And these two were released in the same year, 2002, and then after 2002 it just vanished from the soccer gaming scene forever. So there you have it. This was their side project. It was nothing really to do with the ISS or the Pro Series. And back then, Konami left no stone unturned. For all you managerial lovers, Konami showed love by creating this unique version Pro Evolution Soccer Management, where you can put your football managing skills to the test. And of course, comes equipped with its glorious manuals along with the game disc. And not only that, along with this, a free prize draw card for a chance to win some goodies. Did we have a coloured manual with this? This is what the manual looks like, guys. Yeah, I think we do have a little bit of colour seeping through on a few images there. So yeah, we have the manual. I think this is probably a proper completing box, unless there was a product manual involved in this, product leaflet or something. And this was released March 2006, and after that year it was never touched again. If they didn't kill off the Pro series, I would have said bring out a modern version of this. That would be very interesting for that group of fans who like doing the managing side of things. So yeah guys, they brought out a management game back in the day. And would you believe it, Konami still showed love for the Sega fans by porting over J-League, Jikyo or Jekyo Hono no Striker in February 2008. And this, guys, is Sega's version of International Superstar Soccer 98. And this came out later on the N64, so Sega had it first. I always thought it was the other way around, and to be fair, I didn't even know Sega Saturn got a port until years later. As you see here, we got the Spine J card, which is always nice to have. Gives it that complete look, along with the registry card, which looks very clean and crisp. And then, as always guys, we have the iconic, wonderful manuals, all of its glory. Check that out. I think this one's colour as well. Yeah, beautiful colour artwork inside. Look at that. Superb. Japanese know how to do their designs. Japan always do a lovely picture presentation in whatever they do. And we also have a nice attractive disc to go with it. So yeah, this copy as well, this copy I got was in pristine condition. So shout out to the Japanese crew for coming through. So whoop, there it is. This was the last PES really, and it's eFootball 2020, because this one here is just really an update for this eFootball PES 2020. Now, PES, I sadly have to say, is a distant memory in the title now, because it goes by the name of eFootball 2022. I think, yeah, eFootball 2022 online. Now, that to me is a disastrous ending for the Pro series, guys. So these are the last games you're ever going to see with the name PES involved in it. And what hurts me even more is we can no longer get it physical. Konami has gone all digital on me. Now anyway guys, I will leave a link down below if you want to see my entire collection of the Pro Evo series. I've got the full set, so I'll leave a link down below. I've done a video not too long ago showing all the box arts, and I've got all the manuals and everything from the start to the finish of that generation of Pro Evolution Soccer. So that's it. No more PES. PES is dead. Okay guys, if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. even better, subscribe. Till next time, see ya.